Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fabled Upkeep. I'm your host, Freddie, joined by my co-host, Neil.
Hey, how are you?
Doing all right. Today we're bringing the gameplay footage of Alrund, God of the Cosmos, and Haka, Whispering Raven. This was a fun one today, going up against a Momir Vig, a Simic Visionary.
Yep, and I think this one was a big green blue creature strategy, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and then we've got the Armix Filigree Thrasher and Jessica Thrice Reborn.
And this one's cool because I think they're going to do a Voltron strategy with this.
Yeah, and then we have Tristani Discordant.
And kudos to this player because they went something different with a Dryad Tribal.
And I'm very excited about this game. And we've got TJ Fate with Jessica starting off with an Evolving Wilds over here, cracking it into a mountain.
Yeah. And then we got the Dryad player over here. He's getting ready to play Scattered Groves tapped.
And we're coming back to us, and we drop a nice island. Pass priority that way.
Super powerful first turn play.
Yes, sir. You know it. And then we've got Momir Vig over here playing an island into a Wayfarer's Bauble. And then Jessica playing into a Fire Diamond tapped.
And then Metallic Mimic coming out naming Dryad. And then back to you.
Yep, and over here I drop another island into a Kicked Overflowing Chalice. Crack in the Wayfarer's Bauble, grabbing up a forest. And then we've got Armix coming out for Jessica. Getting ready to bring the pain.
Yep, and we got Dawn Strider.
The Dawn
and
Strider,
Keen
yep.
Sense getting in the damage zone here. Drawing a
Getting
card.
that card draw too, right?
Yep. And then as you can see, that Dawn Strider, that's going to come up later in the game.
Kieran decided to hold up playing like a true blue player, you know? Keep that mana open. We had a Mind Stone drop in from Momir Vig. Armix swinging in. Killing that Metallic Mimic with his trigger. Pretty powerful. Dropping in an Embercleave. What turn are we on right now?
Yeah, 4, I think.
Passing it over, getting the forest down.
I believe we're going to be playing a Green Sun Zenith, which he's searching for the Autumn. The Autumn's going to come in, but you said you're going to...
Factor Fiction.
Factor Fiction.
And here I decided to hold on to the Thought Vessel and the Gilded Lotus.
Dawn Strider coming in and getting some attack.
Returning the favor to fate, you know?
Absolutely.
It's only fair. Here I get Haka into play and then drop the Thought Vessel and holding up counter magic. I'm over here playing Nature's Lore into a Vivian, Champion of the Wilds.
I like that. Planeswalker. Ability to cast creatures at flash speed is excellent.
And it's pretty good. I don't know why he played it without having any protection for it, but... Jessica player playing a Manolith. Playing into a Workshop Assistant. Passing turn over there. And Tristani doing Tristani things into a blue player, and I do go for the Tempo play here and get the Arcane Denial out. Seeing my opportunity here to get some work in on our turn. We get the draw. You get 2. Here I drop another island. This is interesting. I get a chance to swing in with Haka.
That Scry Effect's going to come in handy.
Scry Effect comes in handy. Alrund comes back to hand. Drop the Gilded Lotus here. I have enough mana here to then drop Alrund.
What an excellent play here. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, and then here I'm naming creatures, already knowing what's on top. And come here, Nezahal, baby. Yeah.
Calling Oracle over here for the Momir Vig.
Player.
Yep. and your bane of all existence, Wilderness Reclamation. Being able to untap those lands is really nice. Unfortunately, he didn't get to keep that Planeswalker like you said. He should have had protection.
His play on his part, but it is what it is. And the Jessica player coming down with an Armix again. Being able to do 5 damage on attack right now. -5, sorry. And Tristani dropping in a Collective Blessing.
Yeah, no big deal. Just +3/+3 to all the creatures he controls.
And some pretty fat Dryads over there.
Yeah, the Knight and the Dawn Stride are definitely getting bigger.
They're beefy. Here I go in, and I drop the Cage Sun.
Because you don't have enough mana?
I don't. Not at all. Here I'm dropping down the Nezahal. Oh, sorry. Flow of Ideas. Just kidding.
And this is such a good card. Correct. I mean, right here you're going to draw, what, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards?
Yeah.
Such a strong...
That is correct. You're strong, and then I go into Jessica with Alrund, you know, for healthy 12/12.
Right. Too bad you didn't have Trample. Too bad you didn't have Trample at that point. That would have definitely done some big damage. Yeah. As you can see, how quickly Alrund can get up in power by just a simple flow of ideas. That's incredible.
And here I decide to Mystic Reflection the Sharkdo Crab, not giving him the chance to adapt.
Yep.
And I hear I made a mistake into another Dawn Strider, but
yeah.
Didn't want anybody to scoop, so I made it so that it was a little bit more difficult for us to swing out. Made it kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, I guess hindsight, you probably would have done the Calling Oracle, but I mean, who knows if it would have made any difference.
No. Here's interesting. The Jessica player plays a Feed the Swarm into the Collective Blessing instead of the Wilderness Reclamation.
Yeah. That is kind of odd. But he definitely probably didn't. He probably didn't think that +3/+, or the Wilderness Reclamation was going to be causing him issues. That +3/+3 adds up big time.
Yeah, absolutely right. Zendikar Resurgent on the Tristani player.
I love that card. Card draw and double mana. Gotta love it.
Oh yes. Here I drop a Rogue's Passage. Great ad for this deck. And then being able to play the Foretold card that we had earlier, the Behold the Multiverse, and then the Momir Vig player preemptively throwing out the Heroic Intervention, thinking that we're going in for them. Then we play out an Arcane Signet, activate the Rogue's Passage, and go swing it into the Armix Jessica player.
I think that was kind of funny to play that Heroic Intervention that early. You don't see a player get that scared of a mono blue Voltron deck.
Not really, except, you know, got a pretty fat, beefy guy over here dropping down the Nezahal to finish off the turn. The Momir Vig player going in for Murkfiend Liege.
More untapped shenanigans.
Yeah. Honestly, looking back at this game right now, had he kept up Vivian, it would have been a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
But mistakes were made.
Yeah, well, that's why you don't ever play Planeswalkers out without any protection. That's kind of the bad part about some of the Planeswalkers.
Couldn't agree more. Jessica coming out, and I use a good old counterspell to keep him off of that.
Yes,
you don't want that damage
move
to come through. Yeah.
Yep, very smart. Move to the Dryad player, and using that Zendikar Resurgent. Yep. Getting card draw, more mana.
Dryads are no joke, fam.
Okay, yeah.
they can bring in, they can pack that punch.
Yeah.
Tristani coming in.
Yeah. Get a little +1, get some tokens.
Finally able to get his commander online. I did feel bad about that play, but it just felt like the right play with the tempo play. Just a quick highlight, we're at 9 cards in hand right now.
Alrund's gonna get big.
A quick preface to what's going to be happening. Nezahal coming in clutch in this game as well, as y'all will see.
Number 10.
Yep. For 11. Keep on giving me cards, baby. I like it. Here is the Milmir Vig player. Here's where it came the mistake of giving him another Dreamcrawler. Being able to not have the ability to swing out, but I'm able to come back with a Future Sight and killing a Mystic Remora off the top. And here the turn kind of gets a little crazy. Because I pass the turn as is. And then I start drawing my deck.
Milmir Vig, just that ability to do stuff on your turn is just, it's nice. That untapping is great.
Oh yes. And he's also feeding me card after card after card after card.
I don't think your hand's big enough at this point.
Oh no,
more
no.
on tap.
Yep, we're at 16 cards in hand, everybody. Passing the turn. Hellkite Tyrant coming down. Here I got a little scared.
Because you do have a bunch of artifacts.
That's correct, and more to come. Had the game continued and progressed.
You know, that was a good play by the draft player to do the Immortal Sun, because I think that definitely turned the Jessica player off from not casting that. That could have done some real damage.
That is very true. That Jessica, man, I'm telling you.
It's powerful.
Second or third time I've played against it, and I'm impressed every time I come up in front of it.
It's just really explosive. Yeah.
No joke. Batterskull coming in.
And your hand is continuing to grow.
Yeah, nothing to see here, anybody.
Right. Just a blue player with a lot of cards.
Yeah. And open mana. Here I think the Tristani player was doing the right thing also by trying to negate me cards. Paying into the Mystic Remora. But at this point I think it was just a little too late. The value is already established. Dominance was established at the table. And our deck did what it was supposed to do. I was very happy with the way this played out.
19 cards in hand. And oh, look what's on top. Your favorite, Blue Sun Zenith.
And here I had a little bit of fun too. I love this interaction, and I got to thank Jared for this inclusion to the deck coming up. But it's going to be the High Tide play right now. Up in High Tide with the Lotus floating too. And then just a cool X is 15, I believe.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty good, I have to say.
Believe me, I was not complaining. And here it is again.
He's getting
Here's
scared.
Strider making sure that I can't swing.
Yep, that down Strider is annoying for sure.
But here is a great example of showing off the alternate win con for our deck. Here comes Psychosis Crawler.
That's a big crawler.
Yeah, definitely is. You see Sanctuary doing some work?
There's that Jared card again, Flow of Ideas.
There it again, yeah. Flow of Ideas is an amazing card in this deck.
Gonna do some quick damage right here.
Buying us another smooth 7? 6?
Yep. 7 damage, 7 cards.
Take it. Here I made a mistake. I feel I did go for the Gadwick. is great. X equals 8. Wonderful. I don't think I floated the mana for the next play, which in retrospect I really should have, but I was very excited to have the Psychosis Crawler going off the way it was right now. Cards in hand is 45, by the way. Yeah, and here I did not float it. I did not float it. Turnabout. Should have.
Hey, and just if it wasn't enough, we'll do it all over again. And unfortunately, that was more than enough for the Jessica player to just scoop it up at that point.
And knowing his fate was sealed there, I think he just knew it. And here I ended up scaling it back, just wanting to get enough damage to kill the Tristani player. Not having a Jace or Labman or Oracle in our deck, it does get a little bit dangerous. Wanted to make sure I had enough cards to stabilize and try to finish it off with the 7 cards remaining in the library.
I mean, 60 cards in hand at this point, that's absolutely ridiculous. That must have been a pretty good feeling. I can only imagine you were very excited.
I was definitely having a good time. It was a great game.
And here goes the second.
Tristani goes down.
Oh, he's done. So then just a little 1v1, right? But, I mean, it was pretty much game over. You had the Rogue's Passage here, and not to mention the 60-ish cards in your hand, along with some Engulf the Shore. I mean, you had definitely ways to protect yourself.
That right there is when a Rig player throwing the towel. Conceded second game. So, I hope everybody enjoyed. This was one heck of a deck to play. Thank you, everybody, again. Hope y'all enjoyed the video.
Wow, what an excellent game. I think this is definitely something I wasn't expecting from this deck. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the Voltron piece specifically, but Freddie, what do you think of how the deck played?
Oh, man. Well, I don't even know where to begin, honestly. Look, I got a couple of shout-outs for some cards that we have in the deck that really, really performed very well. One I want to highlight to start off is going to be Caged Sun. Honestly, at 6 CMC, I thought it was going to be prohibitive, but man, if you get that thing online, my god, being able to double your mana that way and being able to use that to then cast these X draw spells like Blue Sun Zenith, Pull from Tomorrow. It's wonderful. But then I really wanted to touch base on High Tide, which came in super clutch at the end of the Tristani player's turn to just triple my mana, get me set up with a Blue Sun Zenith for 15. And that right there was the moment where the game it started to snowball in our favor. That one CMC card, which basically doubles all your mana.
For all your islands, yeah.
Yeah, for islands only, yes, but doubles all my mana with a Caged Sun already on board, which tripled it. You can already tell where that was going.
I could probably think that the green players were sweating at that point. Triple mana, that's pretty impressive for a blue player.
That's what they like to do, right? I needed to throw it back in their face. I figured it was blue turns to shine today, and I took the play out of their book and right back in their faces. All pretty good. But I still wanted to also touch base and highlight on Turnabout. Turnabout with flow of ideas and the Mystic Sanctuary play that I was able to put together. The Turnabout in particular. Being able to untap your lands, especially when you got a mana doubler out there, and then being able to continue the turn and drawing cards like Alrund likes to do, definitely came in as a wonderful piece to the puzzle. Obviously, the MVP that got us the win, though, has to go to Psychosis Crawler. An oldie but a goodie, and man, does it shine! And when it hits like a freight train.
Yeah,
gotta love it.
Watching that, the Psychosis Crawler is almost like when you're playing, to give a shout out to our last deck that we did, that mono black, it's almost like a blood artist, right? So every card you were drawing, it was dealing damage, and it's just slowly taking away people's life. I think that was a really cool card.
Yeah, I mean, Neil, you didn't know? I secretly just built another Aristocrats deck.
That's it, in mono blue, right? Yeah.
Mono blue, why not? We just like those effects. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think the deck was just really cool, and I think the way it played out, kind of like what you mentioned earlier, that it wasn't, originally it was built with people were probably expecting to come in and watch this gameplay and say, oh man, it's going to be equipment. No, it wasn't any of that. I don't even think you had one piece of equipment out the whole time, and Alrund was just all by himself, right? So yeah, I think it was really cool to kind of see that secondary win con that you were kind of talking about in the game, the deck tech, right? And if you haven't watched it, please make sure we'll have a link in the description below. But go and listen to that deck list. And Freddie, you were a big advocate of making sure that we had a solid game plan, a second game plan, just in case something didn't work out.
Yeah, and something that I want to point out here, actually, while I know that Misdirection, depending on the meta, I think it's a very meta-specific card, right? Depending on the meta, it could do very well, but what we were lacking in this deck in particular, which we had decided not to put in because we didn't want it to make it too easy to win, was like a Thassa's Oracle effect or something along those lines. But having a Labman or a Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, something along those lines to just guarantee it, because man, did I come down to the wire. I think I only had 7 cards in deck left. I actually scaled back. I was like, wait a minute, I don't have those in this deck. I have 7 cards left, and I still have a player that was able to shut down my attacks.
Right.
So I needed to be very, very careful, and I didn't have the way to close it. So I honestly, Misdirection, while can be good, especially with all the cards that we have, felt like it just sat in my hand the whole game. There was no need for it. I'd rather have a Spell Swindle or something along those lines in these situations, and or a Labman effect to close out the game.
Yeah, I think that's important. You could also, if people are wanting to really spice it up a little bit, you could also throw in one of the Eldrazi's or something like that can kind of provide that shuffle effect, because there are chances that you could potentially get to a point where either you don't have any cards in your library or something like that, and just being able, maybe you can discard your Kozilek, maybe shuffle your graveyard, go with the Jace's route, having in the Labman route. That way, whenever you draw your last card and there's nothing left in your library, you automatically win. I think it's smart to kind of have different variables. We definitely probably should have taken your advice in the deck tech and put those in there, because seeing Alrund go off, especially in this gameplay, it's incredibly easy to see that you can just go off without a moment's notice and be drawing 60 to 70 cards within a few turns. So I definitely think that's something that we need to look back into.
Sure. I want to just point out, and stress it. I didn't want to build this deck to turn it into a Labman win only. So if it's in there, I would only ever play it as a secondary. Come to the last card in the deck, I will play it. Other than that, you're never going to see that card coming out of my hand. I'd rather beat somebody's face with a 70-70. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think any other comments or you thought?
No, I mean, I think we covered everything. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I sure did. This has been a blast building this deck, and I'm looking forward to doing next week's. So already.
Awesome.
But yeah, with that, I just want to wish everybody a wonderful evening. Thank you very much for tuning in for the Fabled Upkeep, and until next time, guys, please comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you then. Take care now.
Yep, see you later.